If someone you dearly love passed away and sent you a message about their new life in heaven, here's what they might say. When I left my body, I felt no pain whatsoever. Unseen hands escorted me upward by holding on to each arm. I know you miss me, but I didn't want you to worry about where I was going. I made peace with Jesus when I was a child. I found myself before massive gates of solid gleaming pearl. The gates stood open. A beautiful winged angel guarding the entrance smiled at me.
Enter in.
He said.
We've been expecting you.
I passed through the gates into a world unlike anything I had ever seen. Every blade of grass was intact. Every tree stood firm and full. There were no thorns, poisonous plants, overgrown weeds, or any other vegetation withering with disease. The smells were those of delicate flowers that laced the rolling hills. I took a deep breath. It was the smell of fresh roses after a spring rain, only stronger and more defined. It filled my mind with thoughts of new life. I heard the mellow tones of many voices singing all around me. The sounds were sweeter than the soft voice of a child, yet they rang with great conviction and heartfelt desire. I felt love and healing run through me. 1,000 choirs with the most skilled voices could not compare to what I heard. My senses heightened. Not only did I see colors, I tasted and smelled them. Not only did I hear music, I saw it flowing all around me. Not only did I see the lush green hillside, I heard it speaking kind and beautiful things. I bent down to pick up one of the flowers when suddenly realized something. That crippling arthritis in my back was gone. I felt no pain at all. Just to be sure, I ran across the hills for a long time. I never once got tired or stiff. I stood before a clear, sparkling river, gently flowing through the paradise. I looked into the water and saw my reflection. The face of a young man stared back at me, untouched by age. My face glowed in an unknown light. When I dipped my hands into the water, a surge of energy rushed through my body. I pulled my hand out and looked at them. I had skin like a newborn baby. I laughed in amazement. This was so wonderful. This is reality, and it's never going to end. Fleshly temptations were over. There were no more struggles of any kind. A multitude of people dressed in white, glistening robes approached me. They talked and laughed with one another. Each one had a smile on their face. They looked like one big happy family filled with love for one another. I had never met most of them, yet I knew who they were. One of them was the beggar Lazarus from the parable Jesus told. He clasped my hand and shook it warmly.
Welcome,
he said. His face beamed with the same golden radiance I had witnessed in my own reflection. A beautiful young lady stepped forward and smiled at me. I recognized her as my aunt. She was my childhood babysitter. She had lived in constant depression with an addiction to painkillers.
Jesus set me free from bondage.
She said,
Your testimony showed me my need. I learned that God was the most important thing in the world. Look where it got me.
I hugged her and wept for a long time. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw a little girl skipping back and forth. She was so happy.
that's Debbie Myers.
One of the angels answered my unspoken question.
She died from spinal meningitis when she was only 8. Her parents grieved deeply and prayed for grace to bear this burden. She suffered terribly, but as you can see, she is perfectly whole. She'll never suffer again. One day, Debbie's parents will be reunited with their only daughter.
No one worried about appearance or what others thought. I understood everyone perfectly, even though some among the gathering were of different nationalities and languages. It was so peaceful in my mind. There was no rush, no schedule to follow, and no pressures from any source. This gathering of saints hugged me and said, "Welcome home. We're glad you could join us." Up in the distance, I saw the brilliant city of Jerusalem. Saints and angels came in and out of there constantly. It was bigger than any skyscraper I'd ever saw. When I approached the city, I pressed up against the golden wall and saw my reflection again. The jewels embedded in the walls flashed with shimmering beauty. The angel standing at the entrance turned to me and said,
"He is waiting for you in the throne room."
As I passed through many rooms decked with the most exquisite furnishings, and more people greeted me with the same smiling faces. I saw well-known and obscure saints, apostles and prophets from the past. They all welcomed me warmly. No castle, mansion, or palace compared to the majesty of this city. As I neared the throne room, an overwhelming expectancy grew inside me. I would finally meet him. As I stepped into the doorway of the throne room, I stopped. A loving and overpowering presence permeated that massive room. Everything in me desired to be in there. When I stepped into his presence, I saw the feet of two individuals sitting on thrones on an elevated pedestal preceded by steps. Two cherubim stood on each side and covered their faces with massive wings. A voice from behind the wings thundered,
Come here, my child.
Warm tears trickled down my cheeks. I felt the same unworthiness that John the Baptist had felt when he was asked to baptize Jesus in the Jordan River. I felt myself being drawn toward him with an indescribable love. Elderly men in white robes sat on each side, nodding and smiling at me when I passed them. As I climbed the steps, more and more of his visage became visible. For the very first time, I beheld the one whom I had prayed to and served most of my life. It was the loving faces of God the Father and Jesus Christ. Their fiery gaze was filled with such love and authority that no force in the universe could resist it. You could tell they knew everything. Smiles broke out across their bearded faces, and their robes glistened whiter than the whitest snow. Jesus extended his hand to me, and I took hold of it. I felt the deep scars that marred his hands. Without that, I wouldn't be here now. Being in his presence was to have everything in life I had ever wanted, all rolled up into this one moment. I fell to my knees and worshipped him. I grabbed his ankles and kissed his feet. God the Father tilted my head towards him. With one stroke of his tender hand, he wiped away the tears, and they stopped. Memories of heartache in my former life faded away with them. Every word they spoke and every move they made sent chills to the core of my being. Jesus spoke.
There will be no more sickness, no more fear, no more darkness, no more hatred, no more sin, and no more curses. All that you see before you is yours. You will be here with us forever, because we love you.
I must stop now, but I wouldn't return to my earthly life even if the Lord permitted me to. I hope to see you here soon. Once you get here, you'll never want to leave. I love you so much. Well, surely.